Being professional keeps us so stuck. It keeps us so small. It keeps us in these positions where we are able to say over and over again, it's okay when it's not okay. There's a set of unwritten rules in the dance world. It's a series of lies we're told over and over again until we almost and often begin to believe it's true. These lies are designed to do one thing. They're designed to make you just shut up and dance. But today we're going to talk about it because the more we do, the less power these lies have. This is a picture of me on my first day of a dream job at a dance company in New Orleans, Louisiana. I shared with you last week about my experience going into a meeting with leadership when I decided to quit the dance company that I had worked for 5 years. What I didn't share was a letter that I eventually emailed to share about my experience. I prefaced this meeting with 5 statements, and I'm going to read 2 of them to you now. Our relationship is my priority, and I found the best way to preserve that relationship is to be honest and communicate clearly about this subject. As I look back, I see so clearly. It's been 4 years since this experience for me, and now I'm looking back as I see people experiencing equally painful experiences on account of this organization. So many people have reached out to me in emails, text messages, and DMs. We are not alone. But if you've gone through something similar, if you've gone through a feeling of feeling discarded, disposable, used, abused, and mistreated by a dance organization you've been part of, oftentimes we feel completely alone. We feel isolated. And many times, that's exactly where these organizations want us to be. That's exactly how they want us to feel. When we feel alone and isolated, when we feel as if we're the only ones who've experienced this kind of treatment, it makes it seem as if it's just a one-time thing. Not that it's any better. It makes it seem like, oh, well, that's your experience, but clearly everyone else is fine. What we don't know is there are hundreds of other dancers and artists and creatives who are even now experiencing the same kinds of behaviors and treatment that we are experiencing. I prefaced this meeting with 5 statements. That was one of them. Our relationship is my priority, and I found the best way to preserve that relationship is to be honest and communicate clearly about this subject. Honesty and communication are the things that many of us are asking for. We're asking that we can have a direct line of communication with the people who can make change, and that we will be heard when we bring things up to them. And a lot of the times, that's not what we're getting. I hear over and over again about individual dancers, dancers who band together in groups, thinking that maybe it'll be better if we're not alone. They go and they voice their concerns to administrative teams, to the staff, to leadership, and the responses they receive are always the same. I respect the 3 of you very much, and I recognize all the good you have brought to the company, and in turn, the city through music and dance. Now imagine I'm sitting here in a meeting saying these things to people who I believe can and might make change. I tell them I don't necessarily expect anything here and now. This is a lot for you to take in. But in reality, deep in my soul, I hoped that someone would side with me, that someone would listen and say, you're right. Oh, wow, those things did happen. And we didn't take any action to make any change a couple of years ago when they were brought up to us. Somewhere deep in my soul, I had a hope. And some of the responses that dancers shared with me after last week's video, which again, if you're just jumping in here to this conversation and you're completely new and you're like, again, who is this person sharing this personal story? I'm Lauren Messina, the Dance Maverick, and I'm talking about a specific time in my life where I had a Maverick moment, a moment where I had to decide for myself, is this the path that I want to keep going down, or am I going to choose myself and my values and prioritize what I think is the right decision, what I know is the right decision? Do this not knowing what's going to happen on the other side, but believe in my heart of hearts that it will be better than this. Maybe you've experienced that or you're going through it. I know now that there are so many of us who are, and I'm going to share one story with someone who has given me permission to share. But if you're a dancer or an artist and you're thinking, I feel so mistreated here, I feel so used, I feel so replaceable, and as if no one really cares about me as a person, that's not how we're supposed to feel. That's not how it has to be. And I love how someone shared with me, many people shared being able to look back on these experiences and see, wow, oftentimes we're looking back and we were younger. Some of these things we just didn't know. But we look back now with the insights that we have, and we can often see that we were just grateful to have a job. Many people said that, just grateful to have a job, grateful to work, grateful, grateful, grateful. And I look back even at the emails that I wrote after these meetings, and that's what I sense. Even then, I sense this feeling of kindness and gratitude and wanting to keep things professional. And so I say, this dancer who started out with the first day of school picture that turned into feeling this sense of accomplishment, yay, I'm doing this professional thing that I have hoped to do and enjoy. Being professional keeps us so stuck. It keeps us so small. It keeps us in a place of sacrifice and scarcity. And a lot of times it keeps us in these positions where we are able to say over and over again, it's okay when it's not okay. Dancers are taught to be professional. The definition of professional is a person who earns an income through a specialized activity or field requiring advanced education, training, or skill. That's us, right? Earning an income, some income. It describes someone exhibiting high quality standards, expertise, and ethical behavior. I just have to stop with ethical behavior. But I read this definition and I feel it so much. We sweat it out of our pores, this sense of professionalism, especially for me as a Black woman in the arts. Maybe for you in whatever way you identify. As a woman, I feel like it is taught from our training to be professional and to have this work ethic and these high standards when the people on the other side, I mean, people who are in power, aren't exhibiting ethical behavior in any way. They're not exhibiting high standards in any way. And it's okay for them to be unprofessional while we sit here and continue trying our best to put one foot in front of the other and keep on being the professionals that we are for the sake of who. I see now so many people who are quite possibly getting ready to go into the same kinds of positions, maybe even the same company. It often starts out the same way. It starts out with that dream. It starts out with that hope. But it's very easy when you have this moment that feels so big and so impactful, and you have all this hope and all this dreaming, that feeling of being so naive and so hopeful, even hopeful that things would change or that things wouldn't be what you thought they were. Many of us are feeling it, but the ethical behavior part, y'all, it's like we hold ourselves to these standards that nobody else is. So why? And I know there are dancers that it's not important for them to be a professional or be professional in that way. But for many of us, that's what we are taught from the beginning. That's what dance is, especially if you started in studying ballet as the first type of dance that you trained in. There's this feeling of dedication to the art, to the craft, to training. And it's frustrating and sad to me that we work so hard and the people who are leading these organizations, collecting money on behalf of these organizations, and painting this narrative to sponsors and donors and to the city. The company life is one thing, but on the side of the people where it actually matters, our experience is completely different. Going on with the professional definition, it's someone who's paid for their work as opposed to an amateur. There's this picture in my mind of who I was then and who I am now, and many things have changed in between. And a lot of the people I spoke with are in the same position. It's who we are now and who we were then. Some people who are even in it now, I shared on Instagram. I'm sharing a few things there that I think give more context to this conversation. This person shared, "Thank you for your video. Literally about to leave a company and have left a few companies for the very reasons you mentioned. I refuse to accept toxicity as a form of training and professionalism and strong work ethic. I'm sorry you had to experience that. This is something I'm also passionate about, reshaping how we engage with dance on all levels as creators, performers, leaders without compromising on true quality, professionalism, work ethic, and impact. I'm so glad you finally found your voice."